Now I want to share a story that resonates deeply with us as Indians. A story about our journey as international students in the United States and the shifting tides of global education. Over the past 2 decades, the number of Indian students flocking to U.S. colleges has soared, painting a vibrant picture of ambition and opportunity. Alongside our peers from China, we've made up a remarkable 54% of all international students in the U.S. In fact, in recent years, India has taken the lead, becoming the top country sending students to American campuses. This is something we take pride in, a testament to our drive, our dreams, and the bridges we're building across borders. While Chinese student numbers peaked around 2019 with nearly 370,000 students, their enrollment has been declining since 2020 due to geopolitical tensions and the pandemic. But for us, the trajectory is different. Indian enrollment has been accelerating sharply, and we're now at an all-time high. The U.S. sees us not as a rival, but as a strategic partner. No official has ever suggested that Indian students pose a security risk. In fact, U.S. Ambassador to India, Eric Garcetti, celebrated our presence in 2023, noting that India sent more students to American colleges than any other nation. He called this academic exchange a way to deepen our bonds and nurture future leaders. These words fill us with pride, affirming that our contributions are valued and that we're not caught in the security concerns driving visa scrutiny for Chinese nationals. That said, we must acknowledge that some changes in the U.S. visa process could indirectly touch us. In May 2025, the U.S. State Department paused new student visa interviews worldwide to implement new social media vetting procedures. This temporary halt might slow things down for all of us, regardless of where we come from. There's also talk of broader restrictions, like potential caps on international enrollments at universities, as seen in discussions around Harvard. If such limits come into play, they could affect opportunities for Indian students too. But let's be clear, these are speculative at this stage. Unlike Chinese students, we're not being singled out in conversations about espionage or intellectual property theft. U.S. lawmakers are focused on China in that context, and American universities are likely to welcome even more of us to balance the decline in Chinese enrollment. Now let's reflect on the broader picture, particularly the U.S.-China educational ties that are facing unprecedented strain. For decades, academic exchange between the U.S. and China was a cornerstone of their relationship, starting back in the late 1970s. But deteriorating geopolitics has cast a shadow over this once robust connection. The U.S. is now considering visa restrictions for Chinese students, driven by concerns about espionage and ties to the Chinese Communist Party. Analysts warn that these measures could have a chilling effect. Rosie Levine from the U.S.-China Education Trust pointed out that with 99 million CCP members in China, a visa policy targeting party connections could unfairly catch nearly every Chinese student. As a result, many Chinese families are looking elsewhere, Europe, Australia, or even staying in China, rather than risking an uncertain environment in the U.S. Critics of these U.S. policies argue they're too broad, potentially harming America's own interests. Mary Gallagher, a scholar at Notre Dame, emphasized that almost all Chinese universities have some CCP affiliation, so blanket restrictions based on such ties are an overreach. They could damage U.S.-China scholarly exchange and even slow American scientific progress. Stephen Orlins, president of the National Committee on U.S.-China Relations, highlighted the contributions of Chinese students in places like Silicon Valley, where thousands drive innovation and entrepreneurship. Cutting off this talent pipeline, he warned, could hurt U.S. competitiveness. Even those who recognize China's espionage efforts, like researcher Yaqiu Wang, call broad visa bans deeply concerning. She believes they jeopardize not just Chinese students' livelihoods, but also America's leadership in global innovation. There's a deeper concern too. Some experts see these blanket policies as a betrayal of American values like academic freedom and non-discrimination, risking the U.S.'s moral authority and openness. China, for its part, has condemned these U.S. moves as politically motivated, accusing Washington of a Cold War mentality. Their state media warns that Beijing might retaliate, perhaps by limiting American students or researchers in China. On Chinese social media, there's growing sentiment that the US is no longer welcoming, pushing students toward countries seen as safer or more hospitable. The long-term risk, experts say, is a generation of Chinese professionals with no US experience, potentially widening the divide between these two powers. As Indians, we watch this unfold, grateful that our path remains clear, but mindful of how interconnected global education is. American universities are feeling the weight of these changes too. They're caught between addressing security concerns and preserving their commitment to global openness. International students like us are vital to their campuses, not just for academic richness, but also for their finances. In 2023-2024, we contributed an estimated $43.8 billion to the US economy and supported nearly 400,000 jobs. Groups like NAFSA, led by Dr. Fanta RW, have strongly opposed blanket visa restrictions, calling international students an incredible asset, not a threat. The recent attempt to sanction Harvard, banning all its international students over alleged CCP ties and other issues, sparked outrage. Harvard's leadership called it a politically motivated attack on academic freedom, and a federal judge blocked the move. Former Harvard President Larry Summers called it the most serious attack on universities yet. Other institutions worry they could be next, as many have research or donor ties with China that could be scrutinized. For us, as Indian students, this moment is both an opportunity and a reminder to stay vigilant. We're not the target of these security measures, and our presence in the US is celebrated. But the broader shifts in visa policies and enrollment caps could still ripple toward us. American universities are fighting to protect global engagement, urging smarter, targeted security measures that don't shut out entire nationalities. As we continue our educational journey, we carry the pride of representing India, building bonds, and contributing to a shared future. Let's keep pushing forward, knowing that our pursuit of knowledge strengthens not just us, but the world around us.